Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine. I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo. Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment in court.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
The government, states, they start putting these RICO acts on Diddy, all of these guys, and try to put it on these ongoing criminal organizations. I ain't never seen the government put a RICO act on the KKK.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You got to acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened.
If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
I think when it comes to the woman, if a man takes charge and he shows that he's logical,
same people. That's the number two. That's all theater. This is WWF.
Yeah, Senator, you know, this morning I got the latest numbers from CDC that 76.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease. This is stunning. When my uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, it's 76.4%. 8 out of 10 of our kids cannot qualify for military service. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent $0 on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause. It's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have about single payer, Obamacare, or with the various ways of allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you.
And I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Skeptic.
And tonight it's Revenge of MAGA. It's about Maha. It's about saying we was right about everything. And revenge for last night, Gray. I didn't forget. So, first story of the night, we're going to be breaking down about Kash Patel and the predators that the Trump administration has attacked. But don't worry, we're going to have bipartisanship, unlike Gray. First clip, here we go, and we can all take turns talking. We're going to do things a little different tonight because we have lots of clips. We got to definitely show all the clips from RFK's phenomenal deposition today. He was at the Capitol, and for me to show everything, we're going to all take turns. Here's the first clip about what Kash Patel has been up to.
500 kilograms of fentanyl is enough to kill 115 million Americans. 115 million Americans. Cops are getting after it. The FBI has arrested 19,000 people this year alone. Thanks to President Trump's administrations, that's double than where we were this time last year. And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi. Your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities. And how do we do it? Effective. 1,500.
So, Gray, you had your fun last night. What do you think about all the stats Kash Patel gave? Although the Epstein list may not be released, we have been taking predators off the streets, child predators. What do you think?
First off, your first clip, RFK, my mom works at the CDC, so if you fire her, we're going to have an issue. As far as Kash Patel, I mean, hopefully they are getting predators off the street. That's what the FBI is supposed to do. I mean, like, does that mean that there isn't corruption in the government? I don't think that absolves them of that. But, yeah, I mean, the better the FBI does, hopefully it's better for society.
Interesting. And though I know that this was one of your reasons why you said you support Trump, do you think that the Trump administration is doing enough or not enough?
Absolutely, they're doing enough. I mean, this is what they needed. This is what's needed to be done with catching predators, getting people like this off the streets, stopping these billion-dollar child trafficking rings that you can trace all over the world that come into the United States or flow out of the United States. I mean, you could point to South America with the cartels. You could point to Europe. This is all over. This is an international ring. So us actually putting a foot down and actually trying to do things here in America absolutely is great to me. And it doesn't matter whose administration's in office. I would love if Biden was doing this. I would be congratulating Biden, for example. This is what needs to be done to protect everybody, to protect the United States citizens, protect the children, protect women, even men. Like, this needed to be done. And I'm happy that we're actually seeing it play out in front of us, regardless whoever's in office.
But unlike Gray, again, I believe in balance. So I'm going to play this clip regarding the Trump accusers, and we can give reactions and dispute them or say what we want to say. Here's a compilation of all the Trump accusers, since people seem to believe everyone. I don't know. Here we go.
He pushed me up against the wall and had his hands all over me and tried to get up my dress again. And I had to physically say, "What are you doing? Stop it." It was a shocking thing to have him do this.
The person on my right, who unbeknownst to me at that time was Donald Trump, put their hands up my skirt. He did touch my vagina through my underwear.
He was grabbing my breasts and trying to turn me towards him and kissing me. And then after a bit, that's when his hands started going. I was wearing a skirt, and his hands started going towards my knee and up my skirt.
He then grabbed my shoulder and began kissing me again very aggressively and
placed his hand on my breast. I pulled back and walked to another part of the room. He then walked up, grabbed my hand, and walked me into the bedroom. I walked out. He then turned me around and said, "Let's lay down and watch some telly." He put me in an embrace, and I tried to push him away. I pushed his chest to put space between us, and I said, "Come on, man, get real." He repeated my words back to me, "Get real," as he began thrusting his genitals.
He then walked up to me and reached his right arm and grabbed my right arm. Then his hand touched the right inside of my breast.
When we entered the room, he grabbed each of us tightly in a hug and kissed each one of us without asking permission.
Casablancas instructed these women to get up, stand up on top of the table, walk across the table, and to sit down next to Donald. And as the women walked across the table, Donald Trump would look up under their skirt and, comment on whether they had underwear or didn't have underwear, and what the view looked like.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
He turned to me and embraced me and gave me a kiss on the lips. And I remember being shocked. I remember him coming out, and the first thing he did was just smile and give me a warm embrace with another kiss. And I remember immediately thinking, what does he think this is?
Suddenly, he sees me and he goes directly towards me, puts his hands on my shoulders and gives me a kiss on the cheek. And I froze.
He kind of gave me the normal double cheek kiss, but then he held on to my hand and he kept kissing me. He kept asking me maybe a question, "Where are you from?" and kissing me again.
Where is
and
this?
Again.
Where's this happening?
It's right outside the elevators, right outside my office.
So he kept kissing you?
Yeah, he went, I don't know how many times back and forth, multiple, and then he kissed me on the lips, and I was shocked.
Okay, so I believe in balance. I also got another clip from the accuser's attorneys saying that Trump did aid with the Epstein investigation. Mia, what do you think about what you heard? Should we believe it? Should there be investigations? I mean, these were very hard stories to hear.
I think everything is hearsay until there's proof. Right now, it's hearsay. I need video, I need audio, I need substantial proof. I mean, either he's like the world's greatest groper or everybody's on the same page. I mean, I don't know. It's all stories. I'm sorry. Until there's some sort of like irrefutable proof, it's all stories. I mean, could they be true? Absolutely. Could they be false? Absolutely. But until somebody has substantial proof, it's all hearsay. We can't definitively say anything.
Come on, your boy Darley, he's one of your mods. He said, I'm sorry, just don't believe it. What do you think about what you just heard?
I think his name Daryl. You call him Darley. That's funny as hell.
My bad, Daryl. It's all love.
Jamaica.
Oh shit. First, before I even get into it, because that woman said "get real," I felt like she was auditioning for a part. That was weird as hell for her to kind of say that, and then she did the Trump voice. I'm like, is she taking this shit serious or like how? Anyway, first of all, good luck to everybody in fantasy football. I know y'all out there know what's up. You feel me? Good luck to everybody. Let me know if you trash. Maybe I can help you out. It's gonna be a consulting fee with that. Next, I don't know. It's like what Mia said, like it's all he say, she say. When you was talking, Mia, it just reminded me. Remember did y'all watch the Chappelle show?
Yeah.
And remember when he was talking about R. Kelly and he was like, well, I need to have a video camera, his ID showing in the camera. He need to be singing I Believe I Could Fly, whatever one of them songs that R. Kelly sang like a motherfucker. It's like, yeah, it's like, these stories are heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, is the shit true? We don't know. You feel me? And when these videos come out, this shit looked like it was video in the early 2000s.
Well, they're like going through chronological order, and there's more that I'm gonna play, and I'll let Skeptic be the final response. But basically, these are from like the last 20 years. They're accusations against Trump. There's 20-something women in all.
Okay, they need to take that one woman out though, because she fucking up the whole case. Get real, dude. Hold on, bro. All right, man. Like, if you want to be taken serious, you got to take her out the shit, because that shit was looking real like, all right, this seeming like an audition right now.
I think she was impersonating him, like trying to impersonate his.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
trying to say what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even the whole line, get real. It's like, nigga, what? What are you talking? That don't even that. I don't know. That just sounded. That sounded wild to me. You feel me? I know she was impersonating them, and then she said that line, but I don't know. And I'm saying, all them videos look like the early 2000s. Is there any videos of like more updated, or that was just the last time?
There's more. The remaining is into 2016.
Okay. Well, you got that clip, shit. Like,
yeah, I have the rest. I was just. It's a long clip. Come on, we gotta.
Play that.
We gotta get the clip going.
I'm looking at the shit. It look like home improved videos. Remember that shit? Like,
I'll play the rest, and then I'll let you say one more thing, and then I'll let Skeptic go. Let me. Okay. This is the rest.
Okay.
All right, Skeptic. What do you think about everything you heard?
I think a few things. So, being a 90s baby, I will say that the culture in the 90s was different. The way that men conducted themselves in the 90s was different. Catcalling was a very normal thing. It wasn't like how it is now. We're in 2025. We live in like a different time. Men are held to a different standard than they were in the 90s. And so I think with all the things that the women have said to me, it sounds like something that, if it did happen, which I believe it did, wouldn't be made such a big deal in the 90s. So I definitely think that men were getting away with a lot more. I'll also say this. There is a study either by Harvard or Johns Hopkins that says that Republicans or conservatives tend to look at sexual allegations as like something that's not a big deal, or they tend to dismiss them more. And therefore, in their party, people that get, like an allegation for it don't necessarily see a like severe outcome. So in the Democratic Party, if you have a scandal like this, your political career is over. Like, nobody wants to be associated with you. Everyone kind of tends to kind of go around you. So it's interesting to me that with all the allegations that we've heard, and one that I didn't hear was Maria Farmer. Maria Farmer went to the police in, I want to say, either New York or Florida. And she accused not only Epstein, but Trump of also being in the same place. And she said he was there and witnessed a lot of the things that happened. And so I think that's one of the things that nobody ever talks about. Also, that he was held liable for rape. So there's a lot of different things. I feel like if you are a person that tends to kind of have a type of way of conducting yourself, you'll have a trail of things that follow you through. And I think that is what we're seeing. It's the fact that he continuously acted this way and probably wasn't checked. And now that we're in a new age, it's like, oh, these things are a big deal now. Back then, you could talk about women like that. You could treat women like that, but now you can't. So I do think that where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think that we should look more into it. And he was the owner of Teen USA. So these were teen girls that were not over the age of 18. He was walking in and has said himself that, yeah, he can walk in because he owns the pageant. So we know that he was doing these things, which to me is very sick. Like, why would you even want to do that? So I think there's a trail here. So I do think that there's something to look at.
Well, I got one more clip. You brought a perfect segue into Epstein. This is the victim's attorneys, and let's see what he had to say about Trump.
Thank you all for being here. I'll go first and then I'll let them. They're much more important than me, but I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up for debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy? The world should know who he is, who protected him, and the other.
Well, that's the closing clip regarding this. Nevertheless, President Clinton wouldn't take his call because he was named multiple times. But anyways, we're going to move on. And we're going to get to the next topic of the night, and it's about Florida. So, Gray, did you hear the news about what your governor's trying to do?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, all right. Then I guess you're going to learn. We'll start with the property taxes. That's the less saucy of the night. Governor Ron DeSantis has vowed to end property taxes. He's been talking about this for a while. Let's play the clip, and then we'll go into his other controversial thing he said.
The first place we went to with these audits was Broward County, Florida. They got 1.9 million people. They've had no net population growth over the last 5 years. Their budget's increased 60%.
Anyways, I don't know what happened. Pretty much he's promising to end property taxes. We would be one of the first or only states in the nation that ends it. Gray, what do you think about that as a Floridian?
Well, I'll speak as a veteran. I'm a veteran. Your mom's a veteran. We both don't pay property taxes. So as far as that, that's kind of like, okay, like what was the benefit for us getting that? But also, is this going to make the other stuff go up in Florida? Because one thing that I like about Florida is no sales tax. And when I went to Chicago and I saw the sales tax, I was like, oh, get me back to Florida. So
we have sales tax.
Yeah, but not like how they have. We have a different if you go on like the receipt, like in some of these states, you'll see additional like tax. We have, I don't know what it's called, but we have like a deducted tax. I'll look it up and say the right thing, but the issue is, where are you going to get the funds from when these people aren't paying taxes? Because people are paying like astronomical amounts, 3,000, 5,000. The people that I know, is astronomical amounts of what they have to pay just in taxes.
Kamal, as somebody that lives in one of the most taxed states in the country, what do you think about this? If if DeSantis is able to end it?
Man, I will never big up that Klans member ever, but I will say, I'm for the no property tax. Man, these motherfucking taxes over here are kicking my ass. These property taxes, bro. And Gray, you right, man. It's right around the money, 3,000 to 5,000 for property taxes. You feel me? And it's just like, man, I know it's supposed to be going to like schools and stuff around the neighborhood and stuff like that. But I look out my side, my building and stuff where we own our condo and stuff like that. They ain't done no construction, nothing. Where is the property taxes going, man? I think they're going into the politician pockets because he keep raising that shit. He like, I'm gonna raise another point. I'm like, so if Ron DeSantis can get rid of property taxes in Florida, god damn, shit, I can't believe it, man. It's Twilight Zone. I'm for it. I never thought I agree with something this guy would do. But I'm for it.
But he's gonna start a state income tax, which we don't have, and he's gonna raise tourism taxes. I don't know if I like that, but anyways, I'm
Oh, he just readjusting the taxes. Oh,
Yeah.
So I can't wait for my turn. I can't wait for my turn.
No, yeah, I'm gonna have you go next, Mia. This next clip is for you. But the other thing he says he's gonna start doing is he wants to start a Make America Healthy Again commission, as well as ending the vaccine mandate. We'll start with the Make America Healthy Again clip.
To make the first announcement, and Joe Ladapo is going to make another announcement. But today I'm pleased to announce the establishment of the Florida MAHA Commission as a working group which will recommend state-level integration of these Make America Healthy principles. And those principles are, as I mentioned, individual medical freedom, informed consent, parent rights, and also market innovation. It will be chaired by First Lady Casey DeSantis and our Lieutenant Governor, Jay Collins, and will also include Surgeon General Joe Ladapo, ACA Secretary Siobhan Harris, DCF Secretary Taylor Hatch, Elder Affairs Secretary Michelle Branham, Department of Environmental Protection Secretary Alexis Lambert, as well as experts in the fields of nutrition, health, vaccine safety, and family practice. The commission will have several main objectives, including, and Joe Ladapo does a good job on this, promoting clean, safe, and nutritious food industry, improving transparency and accountability in healthcare, working on the causes of chronic diseases to identify and prevent future occurrences, and, maybe more importantly, restoring trust in the medical profession and in public health. The Florida MAHA Commission will prioritize reforms that empower Floridians, reduce regulatory burdens, and hold
All right, Mia, as someone that was pretty happy with the Make America Healthy Again, I guess you could say movement, idea of it. What do you think about this?
I think anything to get anybody healthy in the United States is the way we need to move forward. We are our own worst enemy in this country, between corporate taking over all of our food, our water, our skies, poisoning us, and then people having to work 2 or 3 jobs, unable to cook food every night. And then a lot of people live in food deserts. It's just anything to get us healthy is the way we need to go. It needs to be studied. We need more pathways. We need to eliminate food deserts. We need to provide education, because a lot of people between the ages of 18 and say 45 don't even know how to cook. They grew up with both parents working. Some of them only grew up with one parent. They don't even know how to cook. So it's super difficult to tell somebody to eat healthy, not provide them with healthy foods or the necessary skills for them to even cook these healthy foods or meal plan or anything like that. So there needs to be a cohesive message and a lot of education offered free, because it should be free. Anybody should be able to learn how to provide the best healthy meal for themselves, but also for their children. But before I end, we need to talk about that income tax with Florida, because I ain't letting that go. I can't believe that is so crazy to me. He is taking the tax burden from the richest in Florida and leveraging it on the poorest people. That's what that does. If he eliminates property taxes, it takes the burden off of the property owners, which majority of them are middle, upper middle, and wealthy, ultra wealthy in Florida. So the people that have $50 million homes will no longer be paying taxes. And he's going to leverage that $55 billion that he needs annually. It's going to fall on the poor people. Income tax disproportionately affects poor people. Sales tax disproportionately affects poor people. He's literally taking that and leveraging all of that on poor people as we're rolling into the worst economic crisis. 30% of the country is going to be out of work, specifically in Florida. They don't even have people to build the houses anymore. And then he expects poor Floridians to somehow cough up $50 billion they don't have to offset the rich not paying their fair share in property taxes. Is fucking crazy. Excuse my French. Anybody who agrees with this is an idiot. You're literally telling poor people they have to pay more when they eliminate this, because that's what he's doing.
I'm excited. I pay like $2,500 in taxes, and that's my half the taxes because I co-own my house.
Right.
So W the taxes. I don't know if it's gonna be an income tax. I'm not happy with that. But if it's gonna be like a tourism tax, I don't care. That's fine with me. You want to come to Florida, you want to come live in our luxury, you need to pay the cost, because I think it's horrible that people come here, they get cheap hotels, they get to go to the beach, and we as property owners, we're paying the price. So I'm with it if it's then getting people like tourism taxes and things like that in lieu of my property tax. I'm open to it. And I'm a Floridian, and I'm saying that. Because that $2,500 is painstaking. And in November I gotta pay it.
So he hasn't announced where he's gonna move the tax to yet.
No, this is all like these are all like possible alternatives. He hasn't said what he's going to do yet.
Speculation, okay.
Yeah. Florida's financially distressed right now, and a lot of people that move here for COVID are leaving because of how expensive it is.
Man, I'm financially distressed too. Shit, I feel like we all.
Hey, Mia, you say every episode you say we broke. You make me sad. we financially.
I'm in the same boat as Nora. My taxes are like 5 G's a year.
Makes
I don't pay
5
income
Gs.
tax or
But
sales
the reason
tax.
why I have the half is because my mother is disabled. So yeah, it would be 5 Gs. You're right. But all right, the next clip, this skeptic gonna love this one. I can already tell. This is him saying that they're ending Florida mandates for vaccines. Here we go.
What's excited about is an announcement that we're going to make, that we're making now, which is that the Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Yeah. Yeah. Every last one of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government, or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right. They want you to believe they have that right.
I just want to put out there before you begin, skeptic, here in Florida we already have a unique thing. Not many states have it, but pretty much if you have a doctor or a religious reason, you can already get exempt. So I mean, not many states have that, or not every state has that. What do you think about what he had to say about ending the vaccine mandates?
So I know Texas has it and Louisiana has it too, in Arkansas. So where I've lived, that's always kind of been an exemption. I did want to hit on this with like Trump and the taxes. So I didn't want to interrupt anyone. The whole Trump thing to me seems like such a like faulty thing. Number one, he's saying it's a hoax, which is what people were saying. How is this a hoax? Because it's not a hoax. And then saying that he helped the lawyer. Like the lawyer was saying, we were looking into someone else and needed him to help give them some kind of information. And he provided that. Like, don't act like he sat there and tried to help them find anything, you know, that might have incriminated him. Like, that's such a weird take on that. And I also want to say, as far as taxes go, Texas is one of those states that doesn't have state like we don't have tax on food, we don't have state tax. I want to say we just have property taxes. Our taxes are higher than Californians. Like there's a study that they released during the C thing, and it turns out that we pay more taxes than people in California, but people in California see it in their face because they don't have to sneak it away from you. So just know that these states are going to get their money. And it's crazy because like I even was of the belief that I paid less taxes than someone who lived in California. I know people that live in $1 million houses in California, the houses that look regular, that are smaller than mine. And it was crazy for me to find out that I pay more taxes than them. I want to say that our percentage was like 12%. People in California was like 9% point something. So that's crazy. So I think that when governors start messing around with taxes and stuff, you really need to perk your ears up, because something's in the works. They're not just doing this for no reason. So to me, that's a big red flag. And then I want to say about the V's. So one of the things that here in Texas we've been having a big outburst of was measles, because of V's that were not being forced upon people. They were given the right to do it. The reason why people haven't ever caused a big uproar because not taking a V is because of herd immunity. So when you remove a mandate where people have to do this, you are kind of going against herd immunity, and therefore you're going to hurt the overall population. So here in, I want to say the US has had over 1,000 cases of the measles, because, you know, people are now opting out of giving their children V's. We eradicated polio because of V's. So they are a very important part of like our nation. So I think this is very dangerous to move forward. I don't know if people are understanding what this is going to mean. And I also want to say that the doctor that came out in 1998, his name was Andrew Walker, I think, he was proven to be false. And the correlation that he said that was between V's and autism was proven to be, he basically falsified the documents that he had. So when it comes to V's, I think that the risk outweighs the, you know, the risk is lower than what we get in reward with herd immunity. There are people that get hurt by V's. I'm not going to say that that doesn't exist, because it does, but the outcome of it is more beneficial than not taking it. So we're risking more and allowing people to not take them. And we're risking people that are, you know, compromised, their immunity is compromised, that are children that don't have an option, that have to be out here, whose families are out in the schools. We're now going to put their lives on the line just because people are choosing to say that this is causing something when there's no proof that it is.
Yo, Skeptic, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So in Texas, you said they kind of getting y'all on the taxes basically on the back end. So are they basically mind fucking us in America because a lot of people move to Texas, especially from like California, New York, and all that, because we in the assumption that we paying less taxes. So
yeah. And I think that's why that study came out, because I think what you just said was what, and I thought the same thing when I read that, I almost couldn't believe it, because we don't have tax on food. We don't have like all these supposedly non-taxable things, but I don't have a big house. I have like a decent house. And I pay over $5,000. I want to say the last time we had checked it, it was like $4,900. We've lived in this house for 10 years. We started off paying like $1,300 maybe. We in 10 years have like and also the value of the house has gone up, but we are now paying close to like, if not more than $6,000 a year for property taxes in Texas, and nothing special has happened here. Like there's nothing that I can point at and say, oh, that's the reason why. The school is the same distance from our house, hospital, same distance. Nothing new has been built. And so it's crazy how much my property taxes have gone up in the span of a decade. It's wild.
Damn.
Enzo, what's your thoughts on the mandates? Do you agree with what Florida is doing, or do you have concerns about health things for it?
No, I 100% agree with mandating vaccines for anybody. They've been saying this for years, since COVID. Like when they tried to mandate companies for you to get the C-19. We all argued for years, my body, my choice, right? So why can't we have my body, my choice with everything? We can't have it one way. I never will agree with mandating things that people don't want to put in their body for whatever reason. If you want to go get a vaccine, that's on you. You do that. Certain people don't want it, don't force them to do it. That's how I feel about that. And with the whole income tax in Florida, I agree with abolishing the income tax, or I'm sorry, the property tax altogether. And I live in the second highest property tax state in the country, New Jersey, only right behind Illinois. Because I remember years and years ago, like the property tax in Florida has been raising for years. Because when I lived there, like I remember in like the early 2000s, my parents were paying maybe like $1,000 for property tax, and like 2005, 2006 it skyrocketed to like 15 grand that they were paying every single year for property tax. It was ridiculous. I want to get rid of all taxes altogether, honestly. Abolish the IRS, get rid of sales tax, get rid of property tax, get rid of all these taxes. Let's go back to the system that we had 100 years from 1811 to 1913 before we brought in income tax. Bring back all manufacturing to the United States, get rid of all the taxes altogether, and let tariffs do it. The way that Florida could do it by getting rid of property taxes, like how New Jersey does it. I know this is going to sound crazy coming from somebody who lived in Florida. Start charging people to go on the beach. Do exactly what New Jersey does. That'll bring in billions, if not every single year.
Wait,
that right there alone.
You said people, they charge in Jersey to go on the beach?
Yeah, you have to get a beach pass to go on the beach. It's like $100. It's like $60 to $100 depending on what beach for the entire for the season, because you can only go to the beach for 4 to 5 months a year, like in decent weather. Like during the winter, it's open free. Like you don't have to pay to get on the beach. But during the summertime, you got to pay to get on the beach. That's something like you do select beaches in Florida, like high population areas, like for spring break, obviously Miami, Fort Lauderdale, PCB, St. Augustine, Tampa, all those beaches, you'll bring in revenue like fucking crazy, because who's not going to pay to go to the beach in Florida? You really think that's going to make people stop coming to Florida? I highly doubt it. There's 100 different ways that they could make up that money by getting rid of the property tax in Florida.
Can I answer a comment? I live out in the boonies. So where I live at, there's like the population is like 5K. So I don't live in a big city. The closest city to us is an hour away. Anyway, north, south, east, west. So I don't live in a big city or near a big city. I live out in the country, and my property taxes have gone up exponentially. We looked at receipts and followed it through. So
damn. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, y'all opening up my eyes right now. I did not know you had to pay to go on the damn beach. If that happened out here in California, California would turn their heads upside down.
And in Florida,
I refuse to go.
You do have to pay to go on the beach. You have to pay to park on the beach.
Oh, pay to park.
Yeah, there are places where you pay to park. But going to the next topic of the night, it's about RFK. I can't wait to hear what Kamala has to say. All right. This is RFK saying we were lied to about everything.
COVID-19 was politicized. Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about, we were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission, they prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start it wasn't true, because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP. During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandate. President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
So let me, I'm 15.
Kamal, what's your thoughts? He's saying we were lied to about everything. As somebody that I think you lived in one of the most mandated states in the country, what do you think?
First of all, I hate this motherfucker's voice, man. God damn, the shit sound like chalk scratching on nails and shit.
Oh my god, he can't help it.
I know he can't help it, but damn, man, good Lord, this guy. You feel me? But second, wasn't Rizza Islam saying this shit for years? I mean, this ain't nothing new to me. Rizza Islam been saying this. You feel me? So I'm like, this is not a surprise. Yeah, they probably did lie to us. You feel me? And it affected people that's in my anecdotal life. They couldn't go to work unless they got the. You feel me? Did the shit work? At this point, it's kind of hard to tell if it worked. Who knows? You know what I mean? But RFK saying it now don't change my stance. Rizza Islam been saying it for hella long. He's gone to school for this and became a goddamn doctor about it and all types of stuff. So yeah, I agree with RFK. They probably did lie to us like they lied to us about other things when they're trying to inject certain things into our body. I mean, the Tuskegee Airmen, you remember that? I mean, the list can go on, you feel me? But this ain't nothing new to me. Rizza Islam said this already, and he said it in more of a pleasant way. I'm sorry. I know RFK can't help having that cigarette voice, but damn it. You know, actually, man, F that mother effer. Man, I ain't even going to talk about it, but he said some shit about reparations that I didn't like. But that's another day, another discussion. You feel me? But yeah, that's what I think. Give Rizza Islam page back. Like his Instagram page. Y'all took it down for him saying this during that time, and y'all ain't gave Rizza Islam back his shit. I'm just saying.
Gray, since your mom works for the CDC, you know, you're worried about her job and everything. How does she think about her boss?
She made a lot of money around that time. She worked a lot of overtime. What I would say is that like people were panicking at that time. So like it's easy to say after like, oh, this was dangerous. This was this. It was a lot of people dying at that time. A lot of people. Like it was just random people dying, mostly older people, mostly people with health issues. And that's why they were trying to get people vaccinated to really protect this vulnerable population. So it's easy to have 20/20 vision after the fact. But we've all seen these crazy like zombie movies, pandemic movies. When it's a panic, people just are trying to do whatever to try to fix the situation.
A panic? Well, listen to what he had to say about all the people that unalived.
Basic fact. Do you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
You're the Secretary of Health and Human Services. You don't have any idea how many Americans died from COVID?
I don't think anybody knows that because there was so much data chaos coming out of the CDC, and there was so many perverse incentives. And these are model.
You don't know the answer of how many Americans died from COVID. This is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved lives?
That's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration absolutely dismal.
Who is politicizing? You're saying the Biden administration politicized all the data? Go back to what Senator Cantwell just said.
Fired Dr.
Go to the Trump Surgeon General.
They fired Dr. Grubb. They fired all the people who questioned the orthodoxy. They fired Dr. Gruber, Dr. Kaus.
So, Mr. Chairman, the Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you were sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services. How can you be that ignorant? Like, you know, I remember when we went through the hearing with you, I asked you about community health centers. You didn't know what role they play. I've been visiting community health. I'm glad you've got to one.
So, Mia, what I'm gathering is he's basically saying we can't trust the numbers of the Biden administration. Do you think there's some truth to this, or do you think he should have been more prepared today?
Obviously being prepared is always the best policy, but I mean, let's be real. We don't know how many people actually died from COVID. We don't know, because everybody who died in 2020 was listed as COVID. Everybody, even if COVID actually didn't take them out, even if it was a heart attack, even if it was a stroke, I've seen the death certificates. It all says COVID. It all says COVID related. So we actually don't truly know the actual real numbers of COVID, because essentially if you died in the hospital during 2020, especially within the first 6 months when shit was really, stuff was really crazy, everybody listed. The ME was overwhelmed. Everybody, they just listed COVID related. That is it. So we truly don't really know. We don't. And essentially, every time we tested somebody, everybody was positive. And the studies have shown now that half of those tests were flawed. People weren't doing them right. They weren't being administered right. And a lot of those testing strips were flawed anyways. They were coming back positive in entire batches. It was literally on the news. Entire batches were throwing positives. So we don't even know how many false positives we had. We literally know nothing at this point in time. We truly don't. And is it our fault? Is it Biden's fault? No, I don't think it was a pandemic. Everybody was flying by the seat of their pants. It was chaotic. I mean, I was working in the ICU. I mean, we were literally gowned up outside the room with tubes going underneath the door on the outside so we could make it back home. Because I had small kids. I had to teach virtual school. I mean, it was scary, and I can't blame anybody. I mean, everybody did the best that they can. I mean, a lot of healthcare workers, I was fortunate enough to be part of a place that actually had supplies. However, I mean, a lot of nurses and a lot of doctors died with trash because all they had were trash bags, and we still went and we still showed up every single day. And I feel like I don't like the gotcha moment that Democrat was trying to pull, because at the end of the day, like, we really don't really know. At least for the first 6 months, any numbers are a lie, because we don't know. And nobody on this panel was there. I was there. I was there. I had to live through it while trying not to die, while trying to make it back home to my kids, while trying to teach them. So it's super crazy how everybody just thinks they know, but you know, they weren't there. Like nobody was there. It was tough.
I'm sorry, Mia. That's really hard. Thank you for everything that you did during that time. All right, I'm gonna play this next clip about him arguing about COVID, and then I'll let Skip respond.
Any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies. You described people
Senator,
moving the Titanic.
Are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire...
You're evading the question.
No, I'm asking the questions here,
You're
Mr.
evading
Kennedy.
that question.
I'm asking the questions, Mr. Kennedy. I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Again, thanks to Mia for her service, because she was on the front lines. But Skeptic, what do you think about everything you heard? Why doesn't he know the number? What are their side effects from the vaccine? What do you think?
Yeah, so I do want to say thank you. I know people that were out there that were like, traveling and still exposing themselves. It's funny because I think we forget who was president in 2019. It's literally in the name of C19. It was this president. He was president then, and he didn't go out of office till January 21? So if this was politicized, and I will say this, I always stood on this, that it should have never been politicized. I've always agreed with this. This was not a political issue. This should have been us coming together as a nation to do what was best for those that are, exposed or that are immunosuppressed. I knew a lot of people who had children who, had to shut down their lives because their kids just couldn't be exposed to that. So, I think the politicization, or however you say it, of COVID to me was disgusting, to even start off with. And like Mia was saying, yeah, in the beginning, there was a lot of conflicting information. AKA this man said that you should inject yourself with stuff. There was people saying that you should drink like horse whatever. Like it was a lot of crazy things on both sides. Both people were inaccurate. And I think that that's how it is. Like when it was something new, nobody knew how to handle it. The worst thing that could have been like that, how it could have been handled was how we handled it. We divided ourselves politically and made everything political. We made masks political. We made things that everyone's trying to work together to do whatever's best. I always felt like it was dumb to make things about like politics and whatever. So it's interesting. Again, I'll say, like, when we do have data now, and I've read data and like research that has come out, I think part of people doing things sometimes it's like natural selection. You got to let people do what they want to do. Republicans or conservatives, I want to say they had deaths, 200,000 deaths more than people that were left leaning or people that got vaccines and were not against all of the medication that was provided. So that, to me, that's data that I've read. So we do have data. I do think that he came unprepared, and as a person in his position, he should have known. Like, if I know numbers now, you should know those numbers, especially in the position that you're sitting in. I think that's very to me, that was surprising. I didn't know that he didn't know that. So I do think that to a certain point, when people politicize things, to me, you have to be able to remove that from actual facts. Like, I am the person that's going to go behind the science. I was never stood against medication, never stood against, I took everything, boosters and everything. And I've never had to suffer with anything like that. And at the time I was breastfeeding. So my daughter's never even had the C, never gets sick. She's has really strong immunity. So I think it's interesting. Like, once I've read the data, and the people that didn't take the help ended up unaliving. So I think that is interesting. For him not to even speak on that is crazy.
Enzo, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? A lot has happened with COVID.
I've been screaming it from the hilltop since 2020 when all this shit came out. COVID was a fucking hoax. Please, Mia hit the nail right on the head with it. There was 1,194,504 deaths attributed to COVID-19 as per death certificate. Now, let's break that down. Let's round that up to, 1.1 million. So that's 500,000 deaths, let's say, actually died from COVID. The numbers are completely skewed. And there's no real numbers at all. This was politicized on both sides of the aisle. I mean, in Trump's term, yes, when him stating where it came from. He told us where it came from. He told us it came from China. He told us it came from a lab in China. There's a nice report right on covid.gov, a 574-page report right from the House Oversight Committee. December 4th, 2024 is dated, stating where it came from, that the lab leak was real, that everybody on the left wanted to cover up for 4 years. And this came out under their administration, not being biased in any form. Right here, public health officials often misled American people through conflicting messaging, knee-jerk reactions, and lack of transparency. Most egregiously, the federal government demonized alternative treatments and disfavored narratives, such as the lab leak theory, in a shameful effort to coerce and control the American people's health decision. So, proof is right here. We've had this already. I mean, I think RFK handled it perfectly fine, and this is just what the Democrats are going to do to Kennedy. They hate him. They didn't want him in politics at all. And that's why I'm happy that he has a seat at the table within a part of this administration. Even though I might not agree 100% with everything that he spews, I'm happy to see that he's in government after what the government and the Democratic Party has done to his father and what they did to his uncle. I'm happy to see what he's doing and actually pushing back against this, especially when it comes to C-19. Because we've all known this, that it was bullshit from the beginning, especially with the mandates, the mask mandates, how they came up with this vaccine for what they claimed at the time was the most deadliest pandemic since the Black Plague. They came up with this vaccination in 11 months, guys. I trust this. I trust science with a lot of things. I'm not putting something that they came up with in 11 months to protect me from the world's deadliest pandemic since the Black Plague. Absolutely bullshit in my eyes. And I'm somebody who didn't get the vaccine, refused to wear a mask, worked the entire time, was around people 24/7, never got COVID once until last month, it took me 5 years to get COVID. And everybody in my family that got the shot got COVID at least 20 times throughout the years. And they got all the boosters. They got into the Kool-Aid and everything like that. Didn't believe it for a second. Us to RFK.
Wasn't
man.
Johnson,
Go ahead.
Johnson trying to make a vaccine at one point?
They have one. There's one. It was only one though. It was the one that was the one jab.
I want to say it was Johnson and Johnson, and the other one because at that time I was like investing Pfizer.
Pfizer,
Yeah, they both had.
Well, can we talk
It
about
was Pfizer and Moderna that were the worst.
There was
right?
three. Pfizer, Moderna. You had to do the 2 sets, and then Johnson Johnson, you had to do the one. Johnson was the only one with the one. Sorry, go ahead, Mia.
Well, can we talk about how obviously they rolled out this vaccine rather quickly? They had, if you check out the patents, they had the patent for it for quite a while, at least like the science of it for quite a while before they rolled it out. But isn't it so crazy that the country had people so scared that they were willing to give up their civil liberties, get vaccinated, and carry vaccine passports? Because I had to have one. You couldn't go to a restaurant without one. You couldn't go to a concert without one. Basically, they restricted your constitutional right of freedom and forced you to get, and it was a vaccine passport. You literally had to carry a card. I actually had mine laminated because I found myself taking it out so often in order to go into places. You literally could not exist unless you had this laminated card with your vaccine number and the stickers and everything in your name. And you had to show your ID with it because they were checking both. And it only took a matter of months to scare people so much to give up their civil liberties in order to have this vaccine passport. It's just crazy. This was probably the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government, a lot of it, and thank freaking God. Because at the end of the day,
we weren't the only one. Japan did, Austria did, because I researched for tonight. Austria fought harder than we did, and so did New Zealand. So we weren't the only one. In fact, we were one of the most compliant. We were one of the most compliant, believe it or not. Japan only took 22% took the jab. We were one of the most compliant.
And that's crazy to me because the media, obviously, we know the media can't be trusted. They had me convinced. Not enough people were taking it and da-da-da-da-da. Come to find out, we are the most compliant. That's crazy. Crazy talk.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. And I researched for tonight. But guys, I'm gonna liven it up a little bit. I feel like the mood's kind of sad. I mean, this was a hard time for America, right? But breaking news, Skeptic. I don't know if you heard, but this is for you. DeSantis won the appeal on Alcatraz. So I'm gonna play the clip. Because we got to talk about it. I'm gonna let everybody go this round. But here, I'm a little sad though, Skeptic. I'm not gonna lie, but I was hoping we were gonna save the alligators. Here we go. Oh, wait, my bad. Hold on. Let me not play the commercial. All right, my bad. Here we go.
In the city. So earlier today, Pritzker did say that he's prepared to take President Trump to court if the White House follows through on those threats to send the National Guard troops to Chicago. Again, he says that this is all, he has not received official confirmation of this, but he has heard that the Guard could be fully assembled in Chicago by tomorrow and begin those operations in the city as early as Saturday morning. Of course, we'll continue to follow this story here on Live Now from Fox as we get more updates. Also, though, I want to put this up on your screen. This is from the Associated Press, still talking about some of this as it has to do with the usage of the National Guard. We do know that the Associated Press tweeting out that President Trump suggested yesterday that New Orleans could be his next target for deploying the National Guard to fight crime, potentially expanding the number of cities around our nation where he may be sending some of these federal law enforcement officers. And so that's something that we'll continue to track here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, though, I want to continue on with our top stories that we're following. This information, though, just coming into our newsroom has to do with Florida, alligator Alcatraz. Of course, that's one of those very popular and things that we've been talking about as it pertains to a federal appeals court. Now, talking about the ICE operations that have been happening here in the country. I want to put this up on the screen as well here. Take a look at this. This is some video that we have there of the facility. But ultimately, what we are now hearing from some of those officials, including from the Associated Press, is that an appellate panel has now stopped the order to wind down operations at the Immigration Detention Center that has been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz there in the Florida Everglades. And so, of course, we've been following this very closely, but ultimately they are going to put on hold a lower court's judge's order to wind down those operations. The 3-judge panel in Atlanta decided by a 2-to-1 vote to stay the federal judge's order pending the outcome of an appeal, saying that it was in the public interest. Ultimately, it was U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams there in Miami issuing a preliminary injunction last month, ordering those operations at the facility to be wound down by the end of October, with detainees transferred to other facilities and equipment and fencing removed. Williams' decision was issued in response to a lawsuit that was brought on by Friends of the Everglades, the Center for Biological Diversity there as well, who accused the state and federal defendants of not following federal law requiring an environmental review for the detention center in the middle of those wetlands. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' administration in late June, of course, raced to build this facility there on an isolated airstrip that was surrounded by wetlands to aid President Trump's effort to deport the people in the U.S. illegally. The governor said that the location in the rugged and remote Everglades was meant as a deterrent against escape, much like the island prison in California that Republicans.
All right. So pretty much what they're saying is because this is a state project, it's not federally under like EPA laws. So because it's a state project, then it's not protected due to that. Enzo, I will say you did say that this wasn't going to hold up. And again, you was right. So what do you think? Is this going to hold up finally, or will we see more appeals?
It's going to hold up. It's going to hold up this time. But I mean, I don't really care if it doesn't, because I mean, as we could see, we already have deportation station ready to go in Miami. They took part of the what's it called, the federal prison that there. And like I said, I don't care about the conditions in Alligator Alcatraz because of federal prisons in the United States. You want to see bad conditions? Okay, send them to Miami-Dade. Go look at Gen Pop there. And then compare that to Alligator Alcatraz. World different apart. I've had friends in Gen Pop there that I've visited, okay? And I've seen just the visiting areas that are there. It's fucking pretty terrible. So hopefully this does hold up for the migrants, and hopefully it does become a deterrent, illegal migration to the United States. I'm happy with the decision. Keep it up. Ron DeSantis, that's about the only thing I'm going to agree with you on, and getting rid of. And everything else, you can screw off.
Damn. Skeptic, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Do you think this is a small win, or do you think that the battle has won?
I think that number one, the Alligator Alcatraz is such a political stunt because the max capacity is like 3,000 people. On average, immigrant holding facility, I think, holds like 40,000. So sure, you want to spend $400 and whatever million on this and waste taxpayer dollars. Well, yeah, it's state ran. So it would be from the state. Go ahead. I mean, that's your prerogative. I will say that an interesting fact about immigration holding facilities is that I want to say 90%, and maybe a little bit less than that, between 80 to 90% are privately owned. So deporting immigrants is a good business to go into because a high percentage of those holding facilities are owned by private businesses. And as a person who knows, because I grew up, I'm a child of an immigrant, so I grew up in the immigrant community. A lot of the time, especially, and I don't know if it's still like that now, but they used to even release you. Like if you would come in to those private businesses, the private holding facilities, you could pay an X amount of dollars and they would release you even while you were going through your whole process. So it's interesting to note that, because America is a business and everything that they do is like, business based. And I'll say this to Latinos that are listening to me: stop spending our money with these companies that do not like you, that hate you, and want to see our people fail. The Latino GDP, I want to say, grew from $2 trillion to $4 trillion in the span of 8 years. So stop giving these people your money. If we actually want change, we have to put, we need to do as other communities are doing. Take our money and only spend it with our people. Do not support businesses that hate you. Do not support businesses that want to sell ICE uniforms to civilians so they can come and terrorize us. Like, if we really got together, we could make a change here in America. So I will say to us immigrants, stop spending our money with these people that do not like us.
I will tell you, skeptic, something that really offended me recently, and I wonder if you've heard this. It came out that, the truck driver, I don't know what his descent was. He was an immigrant. He unalived a van full of people. It was 2 people in the van. And it come to find out it was Haitian immigrants. And do you know what I've seen people say that's so disgusting? It was a victimless crime. And, oh, well, if they would have stayed in their country, this would have not happened. Have you heard this on the live, skeptic? Because that has been the response. Remember, the people were all gung-ho about him when they thought that he killed a van full of, let's be honest, white people, but come to find out it was some Haitian immigrants, and now they're disgusted. So I just want to know, what have you been hearing about that?
The only person that I heard talk about that was a conservative, and he didn't say who the victims were. So I actually didn't know that.
He didn't know. This is new. This just came out in the past week that they were Haitian migrants driving to Indiana.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Like, I didn't know that, but I had heard about the truck driver that was an immigrant, and I had I haven't heard much about it or anyone really speak on it or bring it up, to be honest with you. So, and I tend not to cover stories that I don't want to. That
I didn't cover it either, skeptic, because something told me was off with the story, and not that let me be clear, I care about all lives, but something told me something was going to come out, and that's why why I personally didn't talk about it on the New Party.
Yeah, I think that it's everything that we're starting to see as far as the economy goes. And recently, I've been doing a lot more research when it comes to immigrants here in America, but America has propped themselves on every community but whitey community. It's been immigrants, it's been the Black community. I was finding out about the irrigation systems in North Carolina for rice and another crop, I forget, but literally they used Africans from Ghana to be able to use the waterways to bring water to rice crops, and therefore America's economy literally survived off of this, which I didn't even know this. So America's the fundamentals of its economy a lot of the time have been based on immigrants and other people, any other groups of people, and they never get the recognition for it, and then you get blamed anytime that anything happens. Now you're the problem. So it's just so hypocritical, but this is what America is. So
Ray, what do you think about alligator Alcatraz? You said are you happy you can go visit now?
Well, the issue is that they're planning to use FEMA funds to pay for this, and we live in Florida. I live a bike ride from the beach, so if something happens, I want to be able to contact FEMA. So that is the issue, and it's Republicans and Democrats alike that upset. It's $218 million being spent on this, and we basically use FEMA every single year. So I think that's going to be an issue.
That's a good point, Greg. Mia, what do you think?
I mean, Florida's going to do what Florida wants to do, man. I mean, if they want to spend money on migrants, they're going to spend money on illegals. I just think catch them and ship them out, bro. No questions asked. Just send them home wherever they want to go.
Mia, we can't do that. You know that the Democrats going to say, what about due process? What about this? What about that?
Well, but I feel
what they want.
But I look at it as you can I'm illegal, you catch me, right? I could spend years in prison here in the United States and deplorable with cockroaches, being starved, sexually assaulted, and all of these things. Or you can yeet my ass back home where I could just go into hiding when my family send me home. Send me home. Send me home, bro. Send me home. Do not keep me in an internment concentration camp for weeks, months, or years while my no, bro, just send me home. I want to go home. I guarantee most people should want to go home. Why would you want to spend time in a concentration internment camp here when you could rather be home, hopefully with your family,
But
and
that tells you
hiding from someone?
bad their life is.
We tried that.
Isn't the logic the same? The legal way of using checks and balances are going through due process is too long. So let's just break the law and get it done quickly. Isn't that what immigrants are doing? The immigration process for them is too long, therefore they're just breaking the law and coming the faster way.
I would want to say the financial implications to fly one person just to their country would be detrimental to the U.S. economy. You would have to have a full flight of people if you're going to be exporting people. It's already going to cost an absorbent amount of money just to send these people back. I mean, we're talking about fueling, we're talking about pilots, we're talking about a huge operation of moving living people to other places.
Right. Well, I mean, until they offer them a registration and some sort of quick path, work visas or something to get these people out and about and like registered so we know who they are. I mean, it's either we send them home or they're stuck in a concentration camp or we come up with a better solution. But I mean, nobody in modern times in the last 65 years, Democrats and Republicans have reformed it. Nobody has really done it because private equity, private prisons, and private corporations have their hand in this because they get all these tax monies for all of these places. So to be honest, if you look at all the money that all of these politicians get on both sides, immigration is never going to be fixed because it's profitable. It literally is profitable to these people. It's all private equity, all private corporations, BlackRock, State Street, all of them, Vanguard, you name it, they're all doing it. We will never get a solution at all, ever. We'll never see a solution to the asylum process. We'll never see a solution to immigration because it's too profitable on all sides for every politician. We're never going to see a solution because if we did, it would have already happened. They would have already reformed it. I know they tried to a few years ago, but let's be honest, it was a fake try. They knew it wasn't going to pass. And most of them all took dark money from these same private equity corporations. You can look it up on that website I gave you guys. So really it wasn't going to pass. A lot of this stuff is just pretend filler. They don't care. They're all in on the take. They really don't care.
I agree with Mia, but I will say this part that I know is fact. 46% of those that are here undocumented are overstayed visas. So we have a way to track down that 46% because those with visas a lot of the time will have social security numbers or they'll have work permits that they can still use. Then so take 46% out of the undocumented population. Out of that, 55% of those that are here undocumented apply for ITIN numbers. The reason why they do it is because they think that by applying by an ITIN number, they can report taxes and they can use it as a social security to work. And so we do have a way to track. We do. That's how we get the numbers. That's how we see an influx and then we see a decrease in the population. And also we have other ways to track that also. But it's interesting to then hear the argument of politicians because this subject is one that's beneficial to them. Because yes, the holding facilities. So prisons, private prisons have gone out of style. I want to say that it's only like either 2 to 8% of prisons that are privately owned. But holding facilities for immigrants is 90% privately owned. So this is profitable for some politicians. So this issue is not worth finding a solution for.
Kamal, what do you think? You haven't gone yet. What do you think about this news about DeSantis losing or winning the appeal, I should say?
Shit, I'm just letting y'all cook. Sometimes I just like sitting back, listening to y'all give good game. You feel me? Shit. At the end of the day, it just sounds like we're gonna be spending money no matter what. Send them over to their homeland, which they don't want to go back to, because if they did, they would have just done it.
Yeah, you saw the fact that Eric said. He said only 300 people accepted the voluntary deportation.
Yeah, 348. He said that's 10 people per day. You feel me? The driver, he was an Indian immigrant. I didn't even know he killed some Haitian migrants. You feel me? They said bro couldn't even read the signs, but that motherfucker got a CDL.
Yeah. See that let me be clear. I'm
Gruesome.
outraged about that. But the responses, we should just focus on that. But then the responses were like, well, if everybody wasn't here, they wouldn't have gotten killed. I think that that's disgusting and heartless and cold because he killed lives, whether they were Haitians, white, Black, American, you know what I'm saying, children, adult, I don't care. He was at fault, and that should be the conversation. Not, oh well, who cares?
Yeah, and this motherfucker, can I say the R word on here? Fuck, I'm say retarded. Why are you doing a U-turn with a big semi truck? I think common sense would even tell you like, nah, I can't really do this. It's like this truck. Like, come on.
They're supposed to turn into the farthest lane.
He did a what? What'd you say, Nora?
There's a way to do it because I used to have a trucking business. There's a way to do it. And he probably wasn't doing it correctly because who knows? He probably paid for his license.
I know why he didn't know, because he couldn't read the fucking signs.
True.
He literally, that's what the thing. They were like, oh, he got his CDL, but he couldn't read the signs. It's like, okay. And then another thing, I agree with Enzo. Man, these goddamn prisons and shit are shitty. I watched the video. I don't know why this came up in my algorithm, but some motherfucker was talking about him living in prison and had to sit down like this to piss, so there was no piss on the floor because it's dirty as hell. He had to sit down the weird way so pee don't get on the floor because the prison is that fucking dirty. Okay? Shit is wild. Yeah, I'm like, I agree with Enzo. Like, these fed prisons is fucked up. Why should I care about what illegal immigrants getting pampered? Fuck that horse shit. Hell no. Nope.
I had one more thing though.
What's up?
I was gonna add one more thing to what Mia was saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like all these BlackRock and State Street and all these lobbying groups. While all this is going on, I'm gonna keep saying it. I keep screaming it. Get fucking lobbying out of Congress. Get lobbying out of government. Remember, guys, there's 340 million of us. There's only a couple thousand of them. We all need to come together, regardless right or left, and get lobbying out of the country to actually see changes. Instead of kicking the can down the road, blaming each side, this is what we need to do. Get those special interest groups out of the government, and then we, the people, will have the power again. Remember, they're all public servants. They're supposed to do what is best for us, not what's best for their pocket.
You're right. I have one last thing is to brighten to get everybody thinking. Let's see what was caught on the hot mic. We could all then give our closing thoughts with our response to it. Here we go. This was in China when Putin went to go support his boy Xi Jinping. Let's see what he said on the mic. Did you guys catch it?
Somewhat. Could you tell? Because that shit kind of went fast though.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll tell you what he was caught saying. So pretty much he was caught telling him on the hot mic, hey, like there are these biotechnology organ transplants that help people live continuously when they're transplanted in you to 150 years old. Get you thinking, right? But Kamal, I'll let you go first. I'm gonna let you do your closing thoughts and respond. What do you think about what was said in your closing thoughts?
all right. Shout out to the panel. I learned a lot of new shit today, man. Damn, you gotta pay to go on beaches. Texas actually got higher taxes than California. man, it's wild out here, ain't it? You feel me? Riza Islam already been saying what RFK is saying now. That's old news in my opinion. Also, y'all hit that notification bell on the new party so you know when they go live. Also, I got the link to their show in my chat pinned to the top. Y'all go subscribe to them on my end, Kamal Johnson Network. Go over there, hit your bird with a sub, and also hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. You feel me? Shout out to the chat. Y'all's doing y'all thing. We had one ignoramus motherfucker in here. He left quickly though. He talked about he'd rather watch some flies fuck. Weird, bruh. You weird as hell. But yeah. Today episode was really great. Learned a lot of stuff today. You feel me? I guess alligator Alcatraz is gonna still happen. I'm just more concerned about the sign I saw in Florida about them molesting alligators. Can we get that under control? Let's get that under control. You feel me? And also, yeah, man. John, man, I'm sorry to hear that about your grandmother, bro. You feel me? My grandmother also passed away during the COVID thing, and like when Mia said that shit, I was like, they really did say she passed away of COVID, and I always, me and my uncle always thought like, nah, that's some horse shit. I don't know about that. So, John, sorry to hear that, bro, for real. You know what I mean? Also, Eric, you funny as hell, man. You said I look like Bob Marley. I don't see it, but I guess all us black people look alike that's light skinned. Yeah. Everybody, hey, y'all have a great weekend. You feel me? And like I say, I like coming on to the new party because I always learn some stuff. You feel me? And I guess I won't be going to Jersey anytime soon because paying for a fucking beach, god damn, it's sand and water. That shit.
Oh man. Ladies first. I'll let Skeptic go. What's your closing thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, great episode. I also want to say thank you to everyone, to Mia and anyone who was like in the front lines during this time. It was a very scary time. So, and it's crazy that we've lived through that. Like I'm a millennial and it's just like Y2K was also a thing that I remember. And then to live through that was crazy. But awesome episode. I do want to respond to somebody in the comments that said, that we are struggling for resources here. I just want to let you know, undocumented immigrants do not receive federal funds from the government. Like they do not get food stamps, they do not get health care, which is a misconception that a lot of people believe. So, and I will say, I want to say that it's like 15 million American citizens are going to lose health care because of the big ugly bill that passed. I also believe that there are a lot of rural hospitals that will be closing because they won't be receiving federal funds anymore. So we definitely will be struggling. And now I'm hearing conservative legislators say that we're going to have to raise the age, so lift the age of retirement from 65 because we cannot afford to pay people their Social Security that they've been paying into. So interesting that you say that. I also want to say that I appreciate the new party. I like the conversations that we have in the back and forth. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thank you to Haven and Doc in the comments for coming in and always being supportive. Like the live if you haven't already, and don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, she remembered it today.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so what's your closing thoughts?
So my closing thoughts were, I mean, this was a very good episode, like always. We touched on a lot of things. One thing I'm really just going to touch on is the E-Files, Mr. E. Who the fuck is he? Who really cares about a dead dude? He's been dead for 6 years, just lays in jail. This is a hoax. It is a hoax, 100%. It's a hoax that the Democrats think Donald Trump implicated when you have every which way to Sunday prove that he's not. DeSantis, there's very few things I will agree with you on. Alligator Alcatraz, good job. Getting rid of property tax, good job. I think that should be countrywide. Get rid of property tax, income tax, sales tax, all of the IRS, all three-letter agencies, all lobbyists, all Social Security. Social Security is a fucking scam. And then we were scammed through COVID the entire time. Shout out to everybody that worked through that in the hospitals. Mia, no, for you, absolutely. thank you for what you did. Absolutely. But it was weird time, very weird time. Like Skeptic said, we lived through Y2K, we lived through 2001, we lived through our bird flu, Ebola, all of these crazy, crazy times. Just as a millennials born in the 90s, it's absolutely insane. I'm done living through history, like crazy, life changing history at this point. Can we chill out a little bit? But that's really all I got to say. Shout out to the chat. Like, you guys are going crazy. Shout out to Keith, Alex, everybody that showed up for my live. Appreciate all of you guys. And everybody have a good night.
Y'all remember
All
when
right.
through chickenpox?
Yeah. They don't get it anymore. My daughter never got it. What happened to chickenpox? Yeah, my daughter never got it, by the way.
A lot of you vaccinate against it.
You don't take a you do? Then
Yeah,
why did we
the
get it?
varicella. So it's most people get vaccinated against chickenpox. I wasn't vaccinated. My parents declined, so I caught it the natural way. But the problem with that is you also end up with shingles because that lives in your system. So that makes you prone to shingles, which is why they started vaccinating against it, because shingles.
I must have been poor. I got it, and I'm pretty sure my mom did whatever they told her to do, and I got the vaccine, and I got chickenpox. But in this generation, yeah, they don't get it. But I know kids that
because they vaccine against it now.
Oh, maybe it's a good thing. All right, Mia, what's your closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts are this has been a great episode. Lots of great topics. Shout out to John in the chat. Mia for president. Kamala's my vice president. Human rights violations will be committed. Don't vote for us if you're not crazy, because human rights violations probably will be committed. But I mean, Mia for president. No, this has been a great episode. I will say, when the topic of COVID, I mean, it was a crazy time. A lot of stuff happened. It happened very rapidly. Most of us just wanted to get home to our families, and people will never know how upset we were to know that when your family members were in their rooms that we couldn't be there with them. I now do hospice care, so it is my entire job to comfort people in their last days, and a lot of people don't understand how us hospital staff felt not being able to be there to comfort your loved ones, and for that we are all sorry, and I'm sorry. Nobody deserves to die alone, and it wasn't fair, and I wish, I could have been there for a lot more people. It's just tough times. But I will say, if you're not following us, please do follow us. We all do have TikToks. If you want to follow me, it's Mia Not Maya at TikTok, X, and on YouTube. So I hope everybody has a good night.
Hey, Mia, you about to have the red pillars. They head about to explode. They're gonna be like, ain't no way a man should be a vice president and a woman a president. That's damn absurd.
Oh Lord.
The red pill is about to go.
Got my vote.
Oh shit.
Okay, founder, what's your closing thoughts?
I'll say what everybody else said. Mia, thank you for your service during COVID. But I also say, my mother works at the CDC, so those people also were working, tracking, trying to figure out where this was being spread, working hours after they got off, really trying to figure out this whole pandemic that was going on. I dealt with that personally. I definitely didn't deal with seeing people die, but people around me, lost their lives. So it was a very scary time. I'm glad that we're talking about it. I do think it should be hashed out to see what was happening, what could have been prevented, so we don't repeat the same mistake next time. Like we always say on New Party, always vote.
Can I ask Skeptic something real quick? Or could she explain something to the people? It's a great comment you put right here. Can you explain to the people, because you said that Medi-Cal is actually a state-run program, not federal.
I talk, I'll say one thing about me. I'm probably autistic. I think I am on the spectrum. I say things, and my words are very calculated. I calculate what I say and how I'm going to say it, which is why I kind of look around when I'm talking. So I said federally funded, because California, and then again we go back into the Texas. California invests into itself. Like California has the highest population of undocumented immigrants. If you didn't know that, that state is the one that has the highest population, and so therefore they have a lot of taxes that are paid to the state, and they understand this, and therefore they looked for a program to be able to provide health care, because undocumented immigrants will not go and search for health care. Immigrants, I want to say, have a lower rate of going to get medical care than like U.S. citizens. It's just like, I don't know why, but it is what it is. So Medi-Cali is a state-run program for people that live in California, not federally funded. And I'll say this, even though California has that program, California pays more taxes into the federal government than it received prior to the Trump tax cut from 2018, 17?
So Medi-Cali is different from Medi-Cal? I think that's
well, that program is from the state. It's a California medical for like low income people that gives them healthcare coverage, but it's a state run program, unlike federally run programs of like Medicaid or Medicare.
Okay.
Well, I be holding my closing thoughts to a clip. God bless everyone. Good night. And this is all I have to say. In COVID, everything was politicized. It was, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trashed. And that's all I got to say. Good night.
Just as garbage as the Republican Party on the issues that matter the most. On the issues that matter the most. Uniparty. I really did turn on the Democratic Party during Biden, mainly because of his handling of Gaza. How are the Democrats going to preach to me about how, they're the good ones when they're overseeing the slaughter of all of these Palestinians in Gaza? And by the way, the West Bank too. Right. How do you justify that? So that really, for me, was a mask off moment for the Democrats. Yeah. You know, recently on the Young Turks, we were being very critical of the Democrats because you have a Republican like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I loathed. Like, I thought there was nothing redeemable about that woman. There's nothing we could ever work with her on, but she has become one of the most vocal members of Congress when it comes to getting a foreign lobby, AIPAC, out of our politics. But Israel can carry out war crimes, a genocide, ethnic cleansing. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm disgusted with our government, and it doesn't matter which party you're talking about. I'm disgusted by Democrats. I'm disgusted by Republicans. And more importantly, anyone who comes at me for not like filleting the Democratic Party, I'm even more disgusted by them. Okay, your party that you think is so innocent and so good, and they care about equity. Well, they oversaw the slaughter of tens of thousands of brown people, okay, let me use their language and their lingo, in Palestine. Right.